I'm Seth Meyers. This is Late Night. We hope you're doing well. And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are set to meet one-on-one during tomorrow's summit in Alaska. You're meeting alone? Donald, quick tip. If he says it's a bit stuffy in here, don't open a window. That's right. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are set to meet one-on-one with only their translator. And based on Trump's negotiating skills, I have a feeling Putin is going to leave the meeting with both translators. But I got both pens. Russian President Vladimir Putin today praised President Trump's efforts to end the war in Ukraine as, quote, energetic and sincere. Yes, those are two adjectives that come to mind when I think about Donald Trump. You might as well have called him Asian and a strong swimmer. In a post yesterday on Truth Social, President Trump claimed that Washington, D.C.'s homicide rate is, quote, almost 10 times higher than Fallujah, Iraq, though it's still lower than Cabot Cove, Maine. Call her into D.C. That's right. President Trump claimed that Washington, D.C. has one of the highest crime rates in the world and added the, quote, stores lock up their merchandise behind glass walls. Oh, buddy, that's not just D.C. Dwayne Reed locks up its shampoo like it's the doll from Annabelle. U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., Jeanine Pirro, announced yesterday that she has charged a man with felony assault after he allegedly threw a Subway sandwich at a federal officer. Oh, come on. Not only did he not hurt the officer, he probably saved his own life. To think I almost ate it. President Trump said yesterday that he plans to request an extension to federalize Washington, D.C.'s police force beyond 30 days. Why? Because there's just too much work to be done? So far, it looks like they're just standing around. I mean, Lincoln is working harder. In a new podcast interview, Vice President J.D. Vance said that the most surprising thing about being vice president is, quote, how much you are never alone. Hey, man, don't you have 3 kids? What made you think you were suddenly going to be alone? I have 3 kids, and I'm only alone in the bathroom, and I still have to answer stupid questions through the door. United Airlines has announced a new partnership with Apple TV Plus for in-flight entertainment, while Spirit is continuing its partnership with Cup and Ball. And finally, according to a new survey, more than half of Americans said that they use YouTube for DIY projects, but it's still only the second most popular do-it-yourself website. And everybody gets it. That was the monologue, everybody. We are off to the races. We've got a great show every night. He's an iconic actor, you know, from the Thomas Crown Affair, Mamma Mia, and of course, he was James Bond. Currently, he's starring in the Thursday Murder Club, which begins streaming on Netflix August 28th. Pierce Brosnan is back on the show. And she is an Emmy-nominated actress. You know from Game of Thrones, Joan and the Staircase. She stars in Trust, which is in select theaters on August 22nd. Sophie Turner is joining us. So excited to see Sophie, but before we get to all that, Donald Trump claims he personally selected the nominees for this year's Kennedy Center honors so that he could prevent woke artists from getting the awards, which sounds like cancel culture to me. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. You might be wondering why you haven't heard much about important issues like inflation or healthcare or infrastructure lately, but there's a very good reason. Donald Trump doesn't care. He pretended to care during the campaign the same way you pretend to love apple picking when you're dating someone. Because just wait until you're married. Everything changes. You never take me apple picking anymore because they sell apples at stores. This isn't pioneer times. Trump and MAGA don't actually care if people can afford health care or groceries, but they do care about stuff like this.
President Trump's effort to put his stamp on Washington led him today to the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, where he said he'll oversee a sweeping revamp of the center and its programming. He announced plans to personally host the annual award show in December.
How involved were you in the selection process of these honorees?
I would say I was about 98% involved. No, they all went through me. I turned down plenty. They were too woke. I had a couple of wokesters.
I'm sorry, did he say wokesters? A wokester sounds like a car your great-grandfather drove after the war. Yeah, I had a 1939 wokester that I drove all the way to the state fair where I sold it for a funnel cake. Oh, I miss my wokester. Also, shout out to the free speech warriors going radio silent while the president just fully admits he's punishing artists for their politics. You keep doing you, but only when it fits your worldview, you hypocrites. But Trump says these things with impunity because this is what really animates the MAGA movement. They don't care about policy or improving people's lives. They want to go on Fox News and whine about woke.
To be a member of their club, you have to have contempt for America. Not gratitude, as you should, contempt. You have to believe that America was wicked when it was founded and that it's more wicked today.
You have to believe America was wicked when it was founded. You have to believe the Declaration of Independence was written not by Thomas Jefferson, but by Elphaba. That she teamed up with Glinda at the Siege of Yorktown. They weren't defying King George. They weren't defying British rule. They were defying gravity. With contempt. They have contempt. That old man kept yelling at the cloud.
You have to believe that America is racist and sexist and unjust. That's why they all hate George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson and Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head.
Not only do I not hate the 5 things you just listed, I think they would make a awesome Mount Rushmore. What? The left doesn't dislike Mr. Potato Head because he's racist or sexist. We dislike him because he tried to help Trump overthrow the election. By the way, we're going to start selling our version of Rudy as Mr. Potato Head in the NBC store, so you better get in line because it's going to be a hot item. Comes all the same as that. You can give him a hat and a mustache. That's so fun. You can replace his nose and his mouth. And this is cool. He has a voice box so he can beg you for money after you sue him for defamation. Listen.
I have no cash. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a checking account.
Anyway, the point is, this is what really gets the right excited. They don't actually care about making groceries more affordable. They've been complaining about the same old culture war BS for years.
First it was Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head. Now it's Dr. Seuss.
They want to cancel the Muppets. They want to cancel Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
You see, last week they tried to cancel Kermit the Frog and Mr. Potato Head. You see that?
Look out, Mr. Potato Head. You're next. This week alone, they canceled Mr. Potato Head. This week alone, they canceled the Muppets. They're canceling Dr. Seuss.
First, they outlawed Dr. Seuss, and now they want to tell us what to say.
Cancel culture takes on cartoons. Yes, Pepe Le Pew will not be featured in the upcoming Space Jam 2 movie. Bugs Bunny better watch out. They're coming for him.
You've got Pepe Le Pew now.
Pepe Le Pew now has a bad reputation and therefore has to be cut out.
And look, I get you guys love Pepe Le Pew since you all support a president who fully Le Pews the flag every chance he gets. Marjorie, my little love bundle, my little peanut of brittle, my little gumbo of chick. Come here, give me a kiss. But you can't freak out every time a few people online complain about something. That doesn't represent the left. That's just social media. The same thing happened with the Sydney Sweeney jeans ad. No one in a real position of power on the left or in the Democratic Party said a word about it. But then the most annoying voices on the right spent weeks fanning a so-called backlash to the backlash to mine clicks until it got all the way to the president, who felt the need to talk about it in between flag humps. I mean, you didn't hear prominent Democrats or left-wing pundits ever talking about the jeans ad or Pepe Le Pew. Like, Barack Obama would never have been elected if his stump speech was him saying, "We have to stop Pepe Le Pew. He's a sex pest. And making matters worse, that's not a skunk, Pepe. That is a cat who got some paint on her back." Can we stop Pepe? Yes, we can. Now, this is what the right really cares about. This is why Trump is spending his precious time announcing the Kennedy Center honors and complaining about he never personally was offered that award.
Since 1978, the Kennedy Center honors have been among the most prestigious awards in the performing arts. I wanted one. I was never able to get one. This year, it's true, actually. I would have taken it if they would have called me. I waited and waited and waited.
Oh, you were waiting by the phone for a Kennedy Center Award? What did you think you were going to get it for? I mean, I know he thought he should have won an Emmy for The Apprentice, but the Kennedy Center honor is for performing artists who have contributed a lifetime to the culture. Did you put out an album we don't know about? Were you in a band called Trumpa Wumpa? You haven't done anything for the arts, and you still sat by the phone saying, I think this might be my year. They don't give these things out for dressing up as a garbage man and dancing to YMCA. But this is what they really want. They complain about participation trophies and then demand trophies for not even participating in anything. In fact, Trump has such little knowledge of the arts, he veered off into an extensive rant about fixing the roads in D.C.
When you look at some of the buildings here, are so magnificent, and everything's good, but it's just dirty and not properly maintained. It's not taken care of. Potholes in the roads. All of it's going to happen very quickly. We have great contractors here, great road builders, everything, and we're not ripping roads apart so they're closed for 4 years as they redo the concrete bases, and you don't need that. We need a beautiful topping by a very talented asphalt-type person.
What is an asphalt type do you mean a construction worker? If you got a Richard Scarry book where someone was labeled a talented asphalt type person, you would like take the book back. That is such out of touch rich guy talk. I mean, he talks like an heiress at a dinner party on the Upper West Side. Oh dear, the roads my limousine took to get here were dreadful. Darling, can't you find someone to fix that? Maybe an asphalt type person, one with talent, one with talent. And can we get someone to pick up all this refuse scattered about the sidewalks? I saw one of those garbage type people, but he wasn't doing any work. He was just dancing. And would you believe he wanted an award for it? But let me just add, in regards to fixing the roads, do it. No one will complain if you do it. Tax the rich and use the money to fix. Even the wokest wokester in Woketown isn't pro pothole. They're not in coffee shops saying, actually, potholes are just roads that have had to bear the oppressive weight of capitalism, and we should respect their sacrifice. Fix the roads! But I don't think he will. It'll just be like his border wall. It'll fix a tiny bit of it and then do all his photo ops there. But then you'll know it's only a block because of how tight the photo is framed. And if you zoom out, you're just gonna see like tons of potholes. This is the MAGA movement in a microcosm. They don't actually want to fix problems because that would require taxing the rich, investing the money in actual solutions to make people's lives better. Instead, they want to dismantle the government, impose austerity, and then when everything breaks, blame woke. Trump has no ideas. He's just another
Mr. Potato Head.
With contempt. With contempt. This has been A Closer Look.